Hello, it's Audrey June, and I'm here at Madeira Canyon, right next to the creek. And I just wanted to sit with this Venus in retrograde in Leo and kind of feel into what deep stories, what insight do we have into the deep stories that we're releasing as a collective right now. So I have my Gentle Tarot, which is by Amari in the Sky. And just gonna sit here for a minute. Think about what is it? What is the insight? What do we need to release as a collective? So I got the Harvest of Thunder. Just by looking at this, I notice, of course, immediately the fact that it is a moose, which is a very strong creature. Harvest is kind of like the pinnacle in this deck. It's very similar to the king. And he's kind of just sitting here. Because there's the horns under the rainbow, and there's light. And there's this sense of complete ease. And thunder in this deck has to do with the element of air. So it's similar to the swords. And it's interesting because it's the way that the card is. It looks like it could either be just some rest in a beautiful meadow. Could also be swim, immersed in water. So I'm going to go into the book and kind of see what we see in it, right? All right, so I honor my energy and my time by choosing honesty and clear communication. Here in this serene, sunlit haven of wildflowers and forest shadows, we find our harvest of thunder, the big, beautiful, powerful moose. This space is as peaceful as Harvest's mind. Step into this quiet space where rational thought and clear decision-making allow you to put aside the noise. When you decide to honor your energy and prioritize integrity, you're able to rest more and focus on the things that truly matter to you. Although it's not always an easy task to speak and live our truth, remind yourself that it is an act of resistance in a world that seeks to cloud your thoughts and take your voice. Harvest looks at us with sincere, loving eyes. They have tasted the fruitfulness of mental clarity and want to share it with us. With mastery of clear thought and communication comes a more harmonious life and world. Let's take a sunny break with Harvest. Notice the many flowers around you and take in the fresh smell of the forest. Breathe deeply and let the elements guide you to a centered space. Imagine your mind as a seed, as a seed sprouting, then as a root growing deeply, and as a flower blooming so clearly. What do you imagine the satisfaction of harvest would feel like when you have mastered the lessons of previous stages and find yourself in a lucid state of ease? What does concise communication look and feel like to you? What would direct communication contribute to your life? And how about clarity of mind, rational response, and earnest judgment? Do we feel like inviting these energies into our practice? How can we? So the way that I see this card in regards to the question is that in order for us to really go back into ourselves and create a meaningful existence, we need to be purposeful and intentional in the way that we speak our reality into being. It's one of those things that you hear a lot in the spiritual community. Even like it's become aphorisms and like our mundane everyday matrix reality. But like honestly, what we say and what we speak into existence is so important in regards to healing and the life we want to live. I just saw a beautiful blue bird. So yeah, we have to speak, we have to invite in, like, not even just through our word, though the word is a very powerful, potent messenger, but also in our hearts, we have to feel that we are worthy and that we are capable of the world and like the life we want. That's really what changes things for people and like creates a clearer path, is to like really be authentic in who we are. Hello. How are you? There are two bluebirds. Anyway, yeah. All right, let's just see. Is there anything else that we need to really focus in on when we're doing this deep work of choosing ourselves and speaking up? What else do we need to know? So interesting. This card actually came out lower and like, upside down. And I got the 5 of Cups, right? And so here's the card. Cups emotion. So the first thing I noticed in the card, and like often with 5 of Cups, it has to do with like seeing that there's more than what we expect. So there's a lot of greens here, and there is a human cloaked completely in black and looking like they are mourning. So maybe just letting those emotions pass through us and grieving those parts that we didn't really focus on, like that we didn't give ourselves time to really process and to hold space, like collectively in community and also just with ourselves. I feel a very strong inclination to say that this has to do with our inner child and being the mother energy and holding our inner child. So let's see what the book has to say. It's also interesting here too, because you see like, it's almost like the moon is coming back, right? Like when you see a crescent in this way, it's like it just started again, if that makes sense. I'm not the most articulate today, which is interesting. So we've got the 5 of Cups. I think Cups are first, yeah. So I'm going to start with the reversed reading and then go back. In a state of acceptance, looking ahead and reconnecting with peace, what does self-forgiveness feel like? Even if you haven't fully reached it, imagine and write down what it feels like. Draw it, sing it, dance it. Tough times have a lot to teach you. I like to imagine that these lessons remove heavy and necessary items from our ethereal backpack, making more space, more freedom, and more power to live a life you love. What are some of the perspectives, habits, people that you were able to remove? Remember them so it will not be so easy to let harm back in. Celebrate where you are. Honor yourself. for the fight you just fought. You stood up for the love and protection of your beautiful self. So the art symbolism here. Our Five of Cups card is one of the most Rider-Waite Smith influenced illustrations in this deck. I love the cloaked figure at a precipice, signifying an ending and a beginning, reminiscent of the scene in our Three of Wands. It is common for people to be afraid or uncomfortable in the dark, and this scene challenges those fears with the potential support and love found there. The figure is darker than the night scene around them, bringing attention to the life and light found in the surrounding nature. This is a rare moment. The landscape is very much Unalaska and Aleutian Island inspired. Lush, rolling hills. No trees. It's a rare moment of calm with no wind, just soothing silence. Held as if visiting the warmth of a grandma's house, we can find the same complete solace in nature. Even though it is night, the aurora borealis is a stand-in for rainbows, exuding the same magic and presence as the others in the deck. Infinite love and support and connection with the ancients. Asters stand tall to the right of the figure. They stand as witnesses, friends, and as support, similar to the aurora borealis, moon, and reflections on the water. Interestingly, the choice of aster flowers was intuitive, inspired by the way the color of their petals seemed to glow brightly, even during cloudy archipelago days, almost otherworldly in nature. Their stems are so straight, defined, and singular. If they have anything to say, it is surely said with confidence. They reach up to the stars, looking just like stars. It wasn't until after publishing the first edition of the Gentle Tarot that the author stumbled upon information about the properties of asters. Hope Milagro, artist and herbalist, explains that magically this plant is associated with transitions, intuition, the spirit realm, true love, and purpose. So when you think about these cards together, and what she has as the saying for the Five of Cups is, I acknowledge my pain, I thank it for the lessons of love and forgiveness it brings me. Right? So if you think about how these two cards are connected, it's almost as if like we have to have that solitude, that grieving process. We have to be able to go within ourselves and witness ourselves and hold ourselves in order to really like transform our mindset and create the abundance that we're looking for in all the ways and into our lives. Here, just give me 1 second. That would work. These are new decks. So again, I honor my energy and my time by choosing honesty and clear communication. That's the first card, has to do with that. So she also writes about the moose, the harvest card. The moose is enveloped in a clear space, the soothing nature of the scene, symbolic of our mind when we embody the lessons of the harvest of thunder. The rainbow at the top behind the sun's rays symbolizes the joy of connecting to our center. It is the magic within us that also holds us up while we do our best. So it's like giving ourselves this space and then realizing and speaking into existence what is possible. I feel like there's one more card that would like to come out. So give me, let's see. What is the last thing in creating and going back in time traveling and being in the space of ourselves? Okay, so I got the Nine of Thunder. And she came out, another one with a figure. It's so interesting. This deck doesn't have a lot with figures. So nines are completion of cycle. Again, we've got thunder, we've got mindset, we've got air energy. And what's interesting about this card is that we see the full moon, we see the aurora borealis, we see a human clothed almost in the galaxies, the night sky. It's like a galactic promise here. That's what I notice about this card, and just like this look of reverence up. It's almost like a last act, like not action, but a last asking. All right, let me see. She says, I invite patience and love into my being, and I approach my pain with curiosity. Full moon, my love, I take from you what I need, and now I go and grow. The depth of night is as potent a time for our head and heart to clash. Sleepless nights are part of the human experience. You are not alone. The person depicted here pulls up a heavy blanket made of scattered lightning bolts and repetitive thoughts. The moon holds our attention while the rainbows invite us to try curiosity. The warm breeze represents soft movement, available to us if we follow our inner guide and crawl out from the deep. What puzzles you place before me, O moon? How long must my heart roll around in worry and in grief? I grow tired and weak, and I need to breathe again. This card acknowledges the sleepless struggle and invites you to entertain a new perspective. Be gentle with yourself. Grief and regret are not simple. They are things that we may never fully understand, and that is okay. Feel the feelings and cry the tears, but come back to center when you are done. You are pure love. If you are struggling with these repetitive negative thoughts or deep bouts of worry, take a moment to gauge the situation. Has this experience recently started, or is it a pattern you carry within you? When is it most likely to happen? How is your nervous system doing? Does it happen when you're exhausted and burnt out? What are the thoughts that keep coming up? Write them down. I find that if I don't make an effort to process negative thoughts, mental emotional exhaustion follows me. The card, excuse me, is asking us to make some time to process it while we are awake. If we realize our pattern is due to our physical state, we can better organize our energy and avoid getting in so deep. The figure is bald and androgynous. We approach our struggle with raw newness, but also our struggles can be from time immemorial, when we were in the womb or even before. The moon invites us to take that third-person objective view. It's luring us out of the darkness. The rainbows come from the unknown realm. They are our magic and connection to infinite love. The gentle breeze brings us into the next phase, gentle movement. The breeze is symbolic of the internal movement that occurs when we start to heal and learn to better navigate these dark, deep situations. The stars slowly drifting down from the sky represent the new thought process and wholesome understanding that accompany the next phase when we choose curiosity for a situation and better understand our balance. So I find this whole thing to be pretty interesting, that we have so much cerebral energy here and so much to do with stepping out of old patterns and holding space for ourselves. That really seems to be the biggest takeaway here, is to allow ourselves to be gentle with ourselves, to really go deep and delve deep, to release and do that work so that we can reach this harvest of thunder, peace, serenity, and full, complete expression of who we are. Much love.